to take the lead, not always following, but leading the pack, leading in the right direction, doing the things that will take you to the levels that you need to go and beyond them. But you can't hold back anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got the job, but that's not enough. Don't relax, don't settle. You gotta get bigger, stronger, and faster. You gotta get better. You gotta make sure that your work ethic, getting that job is just the beginning, that's not the end. You wanna live your dreams. You are beginning a legacy.
Be open to doing something completely different. Be open to admitting the possibility that you could be wrong and doing something completely different. And what that does is it opens up your mind and your perspective so you can see all kinds of possibilities that you may not have seen before.
And maybe everything's okay for you and you don't need to. But if you need to make some changes, I'm telling you, you can start doing it today so that the next 2 years will be drastically different than the last 2.
When you're standing on the cliff of life, when you see people soaring by, you see people soaring, going to exotic places, you hear about them doing wonderful things. Maybe you look up the street and your neighbor just gets a car every year, every 2 years. Your eyes are doing. Have you ever thought, maybe this person right here has identified their gift and is living in their gift? It says your gift will make room for you.
The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. The second 6 years, I wound up rich. You say, well, the Democrats must have finally gotten power. No. It was not a political change. Here's what changed the second 6 years of my economic life. It was my philosophy that changed. The set of the sail of better thinking, correcting the errors of the past and picking up new disciplines for the future. That's all I had to do at the end of the first 6. Correct the errors of the past and then pick up some new disciplines for the future. And my total life changed. The second 6 years was totally different than the first 6 of my working life. And guess who can do that? Anybody. We can all get better. I've gotten better. First talk I gave, I stood up, my mind sat back down. But here's the secret to my success. I stood up and did it again. Stood up and I did it again. And I did it again and I did it again all those many years ago. I did it when I was scared, and I did it when I didn't want to, and I did it when I was ill. And I did it when it didn't work well, and I did it when they didn't appreciate it, and I didn't a lot of times when I didn't know much what I was doing. I just did it anyway. I got better day by day, week by week, month by month, and I'm asking you to do the same thing until you can develop a long arm and a long reach.
When everybody's telling you you should rest, you should be working. Because if you're resting, you're taking away your best of yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to commit suicide and bury yourself in your work. There is always going to be a time and place for everything. But what is everything? What is everything to you? And how far are you going to give yourself for? How much more are you willing to give it yourself?
Fill your mind with brave dreams so there is no room for petty worries. An idle mind, it's not my idea, it's a very old proverb, but the idle mind is the devil's workshop. You see, if you don't know your mighty mission, if you don't have these brave ideals that you're waking up in the morning, yes, at 5 a.m. while the world is asleep, and living your days for, if you have not found a crusade that is larger than your life, then what tends to happen is you fill the space and hours of your days with trivial and superficial pursuits. You worry about what the neighbor thinks. You misunderstand the way someone looks at you. You make everything some kind of you become an injustice collector when most people aren't even saying anything or doing anything against you. But that's what happens when you have a mind, a heart, a spirit that doesn't know a cause that's larger than yourself. And that's why a sense of meaning, whether you are a lawn cutter, a pizza maker, a coder, a manager, a leader of a nation, you've got to fill your mind and your heart with noble pursuits that speak to the angels of your higher powers. And once you start doing that, and that doesn't just mean knowing your mighty mission, it also means the people you follow on social media, the magazines, whether they're digital or terrestrial, that you read, the books you read, the people you associate with, if those people are full of inspiration and artistry, and they want to release their magic to the world, and they want to do good things, and their talk is robust and thoughtful, well, then that's going to lift you up. It's going to fill your whole internal ecosystem with positivity. But if you're around energy stealers and thought bandits and people who are playing victim and giving away their power to the economy or through all the disruption in the world or to their past, well, then you're going to be surrounded by powerless people who will then demean your primal glory so you too become powerless. And the key to productivity is simplicity. Don't try to do even 5 main projects, Taj Mahal worthy projects, or Sistine Chapel ceiling masterworks. Focus on one. Don't try to have 50 friends. Focus on a few good friends. Don't fill your days with so many activities. Fill them with one key work activity when you're working. It's so easy to give away your genius to digital distractions, to be checking your messages. You could be in flow state. That's a term coined by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi when he was at the University of Chicago, to speak to that state of transient hypofrontality. We go very, very deep into the neuroscience of mastery and how the superstars achieve exponential productivity, and how you dominate your domain in a world of turbulence and uncertainty in my mentoring in the Circle of Legends monthly digital coaching program. And if you're interested, all the information is below. But for now, I just want to remind you, you are at war. A war against distraction, interruption, and digital diversion. A lot of people are losing the best days of their finest hours, or I should say the best days of their lives, just being busy but not being productive. And that's a key point I want you to really contemplate and meditate on, which is, please don't confuse busyness with productivity. Please don't confuse movement with mastery.